Now on CoastTV News.
Honoring sacrifice, ceremonies, salutes, and stories of service, how Delmarva marked Memorial Day. Season starter, Ocean City businesses and locals reflect on the holiday rush. And Delaware Digital Access, a new bill aims to break the language barrier on government websites.
This is CoastTV News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Christina DeRobertis. Welcome to CoastTV News at 11. We begin tonight with nationwide Memorial Day tributes. On this Memorial Day, thousands of people lined Constitution Ave in Washington, D.C. for a parade that honored lives of service members who died defending our freedom. It's a day to reflect and remember the sacrifices of those who answered the call. NBC's Paul Wagner has more.
It's Memorial Day, and it means to me to respect all of those who died fighting for our freedom.
It's just the fact that we had to honor the people that served the country.
Being able to just honor the people that have given a lot for us, and it's just really fun. We were at the national concert last night, and that was just really fun to have our kids experience it right here in D.C.
Down Constitution Avenue at the memorial known as The Wall, a ceremony was held to honor the lives of the more than 58,000 men and women whose names are inscribed in the panels of the polished black granite. One of those names is Captain William David Reagan. He was remembered today by his brother-in-law, General Barry McCaffrey.
People were fighting to get into Vietnam. This is 1964. So he got in, was an advisor to a Vietnamese Ranger battalion, and with 4 advisors, and the battalion was ambushed on its way back from an operation. All 4 of the advisors were killed in action.
It was August 20th, 1964, in the Quien Hoa province of South Vietnam. Captain Reagan was just 24 years old.
Shows you how early in the war that was, that it was actually front page news in the New York Times.
He was awarded the Distinguished Service Cross and is buried at Arlington National Cemetery.
They had a child, and within 6 months, the baby died and is buried in his arms at Arlington.
General McCaffrey, who serves as a military analyst for NBC News, served 2 tours in Vietnam and received 3 Purple Hearts. He had a reunion this weekend with the soldiers he served with under his command.
We lived like wild animals. We dug like moles. They were incredibly good soldiers.
General McCaffrey says he's been to the wall many times over the years, and when he looks at the names inscribed there, just one thought comes to mind.
It's just a tribute to those who gave their lives in response to lawful orders of the Congress and the President of the United States. 5 presidents kept us in combat for 15 years, so it's a special place, and we are very respectful when we're here.
This year marks 50 years since the fall of Saigon and the end of the Vietnam War.
Moving closer to home now, this morning there was a Veterans Tribute Parade in Lewis, and then after that there was also a service in Ellendale. And as CoastTV reporter Zekia Jennings shows us, many people around the county say today it's not about a 3-day weekend, it's about saying thank you.
Plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea.
Proud to be an American. That seemed to be the overwhelming feeling in Sussex County on Monday as people gathered to the streets in Lewis for American Legion Post 17's Veterans Tribute Parade. People cheered, waved American flags, and thanked veterans who fought for the country's freedoms. Colonel Charles Covington Sr. served from 1962 to 1990 and says he still is in awe of the American flag today.
Anytime I see the flag of the United States, Old Glory, that is flying, it makes me happy. And to see people, young, from children to grandparents, standing and waving the flag and wishing well for those who have given a great sacrifice in order that we can be a free country and probably the greatest under the sun. It makes me happy.
Services continued throughout the day, including 30 minutes away in Ellendale. Dale Annis, a veteran, is fighting for this country in another way. by leading the War Memorial affairs and keeping the history alive.
That kind of spirit for what the American servicemen did, both World War I and World War II, for those two countries is very poignant when you contrast that with the country where these guys came from. So I really want to see the spirit of Memorial Day get back to what it was actually intended to be.
Honoring those who made a sacrifice that can never be repaid. And hundreds of people lining Flower Street in Berlin today, eagerly awaiting a flurry of police cars, motorcycles, and floats as they made the 2-mile journey all the way from Stephen Decatur Middle School to Henry Park. Today's parade also featured some live music from Decatur students and one 92-year-old veteran. He says he's honored by the incredible turnout.
You don't realize what you go through when you leave some going to another country. You know, it's that's different, you know, and that's like, that's like now. You got people out there fighting. They're doing everything. Some of them getting killed today.
And Whaley served in Vietnam and in Germany. Now we go to Dover at Lakeside Cemetery there. Neighbors spent Memorial Day walking through history. The cemetery hosting guided tours honoring local service members who served in World War II and the Korean War. 16 World War II veterans and 2 Korean War veterans are memorialized there at the Lakeside Cemetery. In total, 784 Delawareans died during World War II, 44 of them from the Dover area.
Their sacrifice is what makes the United States what it is today, and there was never a greater moment than World War II when that was needed.
And this was the 24th year that Lakeside Cemetery has held public tours to honor fallen heroes there in Dover. Over in Seaford at the Veterans Memorial, veterans and their families gathered at Kiwanis Park, surrounded by neighbors to honor those who gave their lives for their country. Members of the American Legion played taps and read the names of fallen hometown heroes. Organizers say events like today's keep the names of those who served alive.
It's a Memorial Day ceremony, not a celebration. This is to honor those that came before us that unfortunately gave the ultimate sacrifice.
Now, organizers say they estimate more than 200 people showed up to today's event. They say that's one of the larger turnouts that they've seen over the years. Finally, in Salisbury, people gathered at the War Memorial outside of the Wicomico County Civic Center this morning. The names of 191 of Wicomico's own fallen heroes were read aloud during the annual ceremony. Salisbury American Legion Post 64 Commander Bill Hagan says he wants more people to observe Memorial Day, not just Memorial Day weekend.
They gave it all up for all of us standing here today. If it weren't for them, we wouldn't have a country. You know, they went away and they defended this great nation. And I'm proud that they did and sad that they lost their lives doing so. A lot more than about hot dogs and hamburgers.
Indeed, and the Wicomico War Memorial was completed in 2003. It was funded entirely through donations. Members of the War Memorial Committee, all who are veterans themselves, they say they are still reliant on donations to maintain the memorial for ceremonies in years to come. And all this brings us to our CoastTV poll tonight. We want to know, how do you usually honor Memorial Day? Let's take a look at the updated results. You can see 31% say they watch documentaries, 53% say they have a moment of silence, a few say they visit a cemetery like we saw some people doing in Dover, or they attend a parade. And we want to know what you do to honor Memorial Day, so head over to thecoasttv.com or use our mobile app and you can vote yourself. You can see some updated results online. Now we're going to take a live look outside into the Lewis area, and our first alert chief meteorologist Paul Williams joins us now with a check on the weather. Good evening, Paul.
Good evening to you, Christina. And right now it's a pretty good evening. Well, we are starting to flounder quickly into the 50s. We're at 56 degrees, for example, in Laurel right now, but the winds are pushing out of the north, relatively light stuff. Now, we have a good deal of clearing skies for right now, so the temperatures will drop into the lower 50s, could possibly even tinker down into the upper 40s before it's all said and done, before the sun comes up. But right now, we are universally in the 50s across most of the Delmarva Peninsula right now. If it's not 59 in Lewis and Rehoboth, we're at 55 in Redden, 56 in Laurel, 54 right now in Delmar as well as Gumboro. Now, we do have a little bit of concern for coastal flooding. Now, we have a coastal flood advisory that's activated until 1 o'clock in the morning. And this may be extended because we're really expecting a next round of rain to hit us by the time we get to Wednesday going into Thursday. But this is not only just for us here in Delaware, but also up towards Jersey with high pressure and control of our weather. Here's our expectation for the rest of the night as we stay in the lower 50s. But by the time we get into tomorrow morning, it becomes cloudier and it becomes a little bit breezier. We'll talk about that next round of rain on the way in a moment. Till then, back to you, Christina.
All right, thanks, Paul. We'll check back in a bit. Now to Ocean City. The resort town got its own wave of visitors along the coast for Memorial Day weekend. Of course, more people means more money for the town. And as Coast TV reporter Kevin Zappe shows us, Memorial Day weekend, it's the big kickoff to crowds in Ocean City, and the town and local businesses say they're happy about it.
Whether you're enjoying the beach, taking a stroll along the boardwalk, or eating at one of the many restaurants in Ocean City, it all leads to waves of cash crashing into the coast. And vacationer Harry and Lydia Williams are enjoying every second of it.
We're just enjoying the boardwalk up and down. We're just sitting there having some bike rides, we're having some local food, having some beers, enjoying Memorial Day weekend and what it's all about.
Every day this weekend, up and down the boardwalk, Ocean City has been packed full of people taking advantage of everything the town has to offer. Patty Soriano is the owner of Soriano's restaurant near the boardwalk, and she says it's been a profitable couple of days.
It was a later start into the day, but it was a very good weekend for us, and we did well. It was a good weekend, lots of people.
Interestingly, Soriano says they actually saw more customers last year, but claims the crowd from Boardwalk Rock last weekend made up for it. As the Williams spend their last few hours here in Ocean City, they also set time aside to remember why Memorial Day is so important.
If it wasn't for the people that were fighting for our freedom and our rights, we wouldn't have the right to be here having a good time because of the lives that were sacrificed because of them.
So if you're enjoying your weekend along the coast, be sure to take a little time today and think about the people who gave up their lives so others could chase their dreams.
And that was Coast TV's Kevin Zappe reporting, and we are just getting started tonight. Coming up next, multilingual websites. Delaware lawmakers consider a bill that could make state sites easier for everyone. But first, we look at all the cool things to do, not this weekend, but this summer.
Well, here's one cool thing, the Bay forecast. We're looking for 70 degrees and cloudy skies for us on Tuesday, but Wednesday and Thursday, that's when the rain shows up. We'll talk more about this in detail coming up.
Memorial Day is the start of the summer season here on Delmarva, and this year has some big anniversaries for big events. The Ocean City Air Show zooms back onto the coast June 14th and 15th. There will be fighter jets, a parachute team, and more. Dewey Beach becomes Spain on June 28th. For over 27 years, the Starboard has hosted Running of the Bull. People pack the streets with a celebrity matador to raise money for the Rehoboth Beach Volunteer Fire Company. Celebrate Independence Day with history and flair. Lewis has a boat parade and doodah parade where floats are made up of, well, just about anything. The city of Rehoboth Beach set to put the ooh and ah in the 4th of July this year with a fireworks display on Saturday, July 5th. Bethany Beach has a parade on the 4th. The theme this year is Traditions Thrive in 25. Giddy up! This year is the 100th annual Pony Swim in Chincoteague. On July 30th, saltwater cowboys gather the wild ponies and foals across the channel, and the day after, ponies are auctioned off to control the herd population and raise money for the volunteer firefighters who care for the animals throughout the year. What is billed as the world's largest and richest billfish tournament happens August 4th through the 8th in Ocean City. We're talking about the White Marlin Open. The 2024 event drew 318 boats, over 3,000 contestants, and over $8.5 million in prize money. Some of these events are free, some have special tickets. We have all the details on CoastTV.com. For Coast TV News, I'm Coming up next, improving access, a new bill would remove language barriers from Delaware government websites.
As we take a very calm and calculated look at what we're expecting for the next couple of days, look for the cloudy skies to kick in for tomorrow. And then on Wednesday, Thursday, possibly even Friday and Saturday, we'll be watching out for some scattered showers. So grab your umbrella and just kind of keep it handy for the rest of the work week. At Ocean Cities right now, courtesy of our Dry-Tech crawl space camera, we're at 59 degrees right now with the winds coming out of the north, staying relatively light at this point. We'll remain with clear skies till about 1 o'clock, and then we'll see a few clouds begin to bulk up a little bit in the area by 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. That's also when we're expecting for the coastal flood advisory to expire unless it's extended. We're at 58 degrees in Rehoboth as well as Lewis. It's 55 in Milford, Redden, and it's 53 degrees right now in Delmar as well as Gumboro. And the winds right now primarily pushing out of the north with the gust, but now we'll have the winds that are going to start turning out of the north because of the placement of a high pressure system that's on the way to controlling our weather. Right now, we have a waning high pressure system that's moving out into deeper waters. We have clear skies for right now. Now, as I widen this is the high that's moved out of the way. We have another one that's coming into play. And when it comes into play, that's going to turn the winds out of the north. As far as tonight is concerned, look for increasing cloud cover, and we'll drop down to 48 in Willards, 48 in Selbyville, and 49 Delmar. Those are the cool spots. 54 for the overnight low in Rehoboth Beach. Along the coast, here's what we're expecting for Tuesday. Tuesday's going to be kind of cloudy for everybody. At first, the initial run earlier, we were looking for a smidgen of sunshine in Bethany Beach. Now with the latest run, because, we update this throughout the evening. Now even Bethany Beach is looking for mostly cloudy skies. So look for a gray day all day tomorrow for Tuesday. Don't ask me to say that 3 times in a row. That's going to be kind of tricky. But anyway, temperatures will be in the upper 60s to low 70s. 71 Lewis, 66 Rehoboth, 69 for Dewey Beach, as well as Chincoteague and in Ocean City. You see, we start off with thick cloud cover around 2 o'clock. We stay that way with temperatures in the upper 60s. Then as we go into Wednesday, that's when we start getting introduced to some scattered showers as early as 4 o'clock in the morning. A sprinkle or two will start, and then we look for widespread rain to begin to hit for us, particularly around lunchtime. And we could have some isolated pockets of heavier downpours, not necessarily thunderstorms, but heavier downpours concentrated around Millsboro, Long Neck throughout the late afternoon hours. Now, for Ocean Pines down to Snow Hill, by 3 o'clock, we're looking for those embedded showers and heavy downpours to begin to push through in the afternoon and still stick around by 5 o'clock near Berlin and Ocean City. And then it begins to clear out quickly for us behind that. The winds will be at about 26 miles per hour, but then they'll back off a bit for us as we go into the late hours for Wednesday. For the next 5 days, keep this in mind. We're looking for cloudy skies for Tuesday, but Wednesday and Thursday, that's when I'm looking for significant more showers. And we could see some drizzle and leftover lingering showers for Friday going into Saturday. So Chincoteague and Assateague, we're looking for wet Wednesdays, both locations, and possibly on Thursday. Fenwick Island, we just stay cloudy all across the board with the wet weather kicking in, causing the roads to be wet on Wednesday and possibly Thursday. And for Rehoboth and Lewis, same situation, limited cloud cover, if any at all, for the next 3 days. Finally, here's a look at the 7-day forecast. Now, this is the thing that's tricky. We're getting ready to go into a real summer-like pattern, so these showers that you see here could be like all day sunny, and then scattered showers in the afternoon, and then they quit when the sun goes down.
Thank you, Paul. Well, Delaware Democrats have introduced a bill that would require all state government websites to be accessible in any language spoken by at least 0.5% of Delaware's population. Telemundo Delmarva and CoastTV News reporter Ana Sofia Roman shows us what it means to the community.
Making state websites more accessible, that's the goal of House Bill 302. Lawmakers want every single state website to have a link on it that would take people that need it to a translated version of that same page. The bill also allows the use of automated translation tools as long as there's a disclaimer about the accuracy of the text. Alison Lopez, who grew up in Georgetown and has family from Guatemala, says this change could be a big help.
There's many Hispanic families or immigrants that doesn't understand English, and it would benefit them if they want more information about something. It would be very helpful for their case.
According to the U.S. Census Bureau, 14.8% of Delawareans age 5 and older speak a language other than English at home, Spanish being the most common one. For Lopez, this legislation shines a light on a struggle many face.
Some family members that I know that they're not that fluent, but they have kids also, but sometimes they're busy with school, or they're small enough where they can't fully translate for them.
A step many say moves the first state closer to understanding, access, and equality. In Georgetown, Ana Sofia Roman, Coast TV News.
House Bill 302 has been reported out of the House Elections and Government Affairs Committee. It's now awaiting action on the House floor. If it's passed by the House, it will then move to the Senate before becoming law. Coming up next, excuse me, we're staying here for a second. Bulk trash pickup in Fenwick Island. It's happening this week, something you should be aware of. Mark your calendars, Tuesday, May 27th through Thursday, May 29th. The town says to make sure items are collected, you should place everything curbside by 10 p.m. on Wednesday, May 28th. Tires, appliances with Freon, shingles, concrete, propane tanks, helium tanks, paint and yard waste like branches or trees, that stuff will not be collected. Summer crowds, they're coming back to the coast. That means so are beach patrols. Ocean City lifeguards started May 25th. They'll be on duty every day from 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Rehoboth Beach Guards, they also hit the stands May 25th. They're on watch 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. weekdays, 9:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. weekends and holidays. Dewey Beach Guards, they patrol daily from Memorial Day all the way to Labor Day. That's from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Now coming up next, a warning about allergy medications, what the FDA wants you to know.
Here's a look at your Gulf forecast. We're looking for cloudy skies staying pretty persistent. So we're looking for at least maybe fair conditions. Cloudy and still feeling a little bit mild with temperatures in the upper 60s.
This is Coast TV News at 11.
New tonight, a warning from the Food and Drug Administration that stopping allergy medications could cause a severe reaction. The agency says people have reported experiencing severe itching after they've stopped taking medications like Zyrtec or Zylol. The side effect seems to happen to those who quit after long-term use. The FDA is asking manufacturers of the over-the-counter versions to add the new side effect warning to their packaging. Well, Planned Parenthood is closing 8 centers in the Midwest. The closures are largely due to federal funding cuts, including President Trump's budget bill working its way through Congress, which would ban Medicaid funds from going to Planned Parenthood. The organization will close 4 of its 6 centers in Iowa and 4 facilities in Minnesota. The region's Planned Parenthood is also laying off 66 employees and offering 37 others the chance to be reassigned somewhere else. The head of Planned Parenthood North Central States said, quote, the heart-wrenching decision to consolidate its operations is aimed at ensuring Planned Parenthood is there for years to come, unquote. Well, setting boundaries is a critical part of a person's well-being, and experts say it can not only help you handle and reduce stress, but it can also lead to healthier relationships. However, it's not always easy to do. Sometimes it can be downright uncomfortable. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has tips on how to set healthy boundaries for mental health.
Saying no can be hard to do, but experts say setting boundaries is not only good for mental health, it's necessary. Not having them isn't good for anyone.
It ends up really affecting your mental health. You might end up depleted. You might feel like your needs aren't met.
Licensed therapist Jody Baumstein with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta says to set healthy boundaries, start by reflecting on your own needs and on your limits. And don't compare yourself to others. We all have different needs and limits. Next, align your actions with what's right for you.
So if you know, okay, I need to set limits on how much I take on because it affects my mood, my sleep, my interactions with my family, keep coming back to that why.
Baumstein says to communicate those boundaries clearly and assertively and be consistent with those boundaries. She says that will reinforce those lines drawn and help people understand that they're there. And finally, learn to say no.
This is hard for a lot of us, but we want to remember that no can be a full sentence. You don't need to explain it. You don't need to justify it. This is about protecting your own mental well-being and protecting relationships that you have with other people.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Moving to sports news now, Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark will be out at least 2 weeks with a left quad strain. The team made the announcement Monday. Clark will miss 4 games during that span, including 2 Commissioner's Cups games. One of those games is a matchup against the Chicago Sky and rival Angel Reese. Now here's a live look outside into Rehoboth Beach, and we'll have one more check on the forecast coming up after the break.
Take a look at where we are right now in Milford. A Bay Health camera at 57 degrees right now. Dew point temperature of 48. And our expectations for the rest of the night, we're going to kind of settle into the mid-50s throughout the rest of the night with increasing cloud cover. By the time we get to 2 o'clock in the morning, we're looking for mostly cloudy skies. And once that cloud cover begins to pull through, it's just going to stick and stay for a little bit of a while. Our umbrella winner, by the way, is William Carter of Dagsboro. Congratulations, courtesy of Paul Davis Restoration and Home Remodeling. And the umbrella is going to be a real handy thing to have for the rest of this week. I'll show you why in a moment. Keep up with your forecast by calling our weather line, 443-880-9100. Your forecast is just a call away, sponsored by the law offices of Brugstead, Mendalis, and Federico. Now, remember that little thing I was telling you about that umbrella? Well, here's why it's going to come in handy. Your 10-day forecast. We're expecting cloudy skies for us on Tuesday, but then on Wednesday, this is when the wet weather begins to kick in. We're going to have temperatures falling below the norm. We should be at about 73, 74 degrees. We're going to fall below the norm for Wednesday, so it's going to be a clammy, cold, cloudy day. Then we warm up to 78, and we stay in the 70s, but we have our chances of rain continuing, at least, at very least in the afternoon for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We dry out on Sunday. Then next week, we start feeling a whole lot like summertime, and it's going to be muggy because all that rain, when it hits, will evaporate and make the air thicker.
Good to know. Okay, thanks, Paul. Thanks for joining us for Coast TV News at 11 tonight. For some more local news and local weather, you can always download our Coast TV News app. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, that's up next, and we'll see you back tomorrow for Coast TV News at 5 a.m. Have a great night.